seen David Tiger Davidson?
Yeah.
Yeah? No, you've never seen that, Russ? Okay. Well, we're gonna watch a little bit of a clip from one of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood episodes where he introduces us to a special friend of his.
It is. I think I know who that is.
Mr. Rogers?
Hey. I'm glad to see you. Thank you very much for coming by. I asked Jeff, this is my friend Jeff Erlinger. He's one of my neighbors here, and I asked him if he would come by today because I wanted you to meet him and I wanted you to see his electric wheelchair. We've been talking about electric cars and all kinds of things we've been thinking about this week. Would you show me how you make your chair go?
Okay, sure. Alright. Well, first, this is the on and off switch. I need this up to turn it on.
Okay.
And here's the rim.
You're really good at that.
Thanks.
Very fancy machine. But you're the one who makes it go.
Right.
Did it take a long time to learn how?
No, not really. I got the wheelchair. I first got the wheelchair. It only took me about a day to learn how to use it.
Gee, that's wonderful. Jeff, your mom and dad must be really proud of you.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Well, I know I am. Now, can you tell my friends what it is that made you need this wheelchair?
Sure. Well, when I was about 7 months old, I had a tumor, and it broke the nerves to tell my hands and legs what to do.
I see.
And they tried to cut the tumor, but they couldn't get it, and I became handicapped. And I got a wheelchair when I was 4 years old.
That was your first one
Mm-hmm.
when you were 4.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, sort of.
You must have some mighty good doctors who've been taking care of you.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me any of your doctor's names?
Yeah, I'm pediatrician and Dr. Hansen, who works in Madison St. Mary's Hospital. And then at UW, the bone doctor is Dr. Green, who takes care of the bones, I guess, because he's a bone doctor. Anyway, I had surgery earlier this summer because I have pain in my stomach called autonomic dysreflexia, and I just
What was that?
autonomic dysreflexia. I'm not exactly sure what it means.
But you sure can say.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had a surgery done just recently to try and cut the sphincter because I'm holding my urine in. So, well, you have a lot of things going on in here. This just shows you have a lot of things happen to you when you're handicapped most of the time.
But,
And sometimes that happens when you're not handicapped.
of course. But you're able to talk about those things
Yeah.
so well and help other people who might have the same kinds of things. Do you know that song that I sometimes sing called It's You I Like? I'd like to sing that to you and with you.
Okay, sure.
It's you I like. It's not the things you wear. It's not the way you do your hair. But it's you I like. The way you are right now. The way down deep inside you. Not the things that
I
not your fancy chair that's just beside you. But it's you I like, every part of you. Your skin, your eyes, your feelings, whether old or new. I hope that you remember, even when you're feeling blue, that it's you I like, it's you yourself, it's you, it's you.
What?
And it is you I like, Jeff.
Thanks.
And there must be times when you do feel blue.
Uh-huh.
What do you do during those times?
Well, it depends.
Sometimes do you make up stories,
Yeah,
or read,
yeah.
or play? I know that's the way I did when I was a little boy. And all kinds of things that I
Did it
was.
help?
It did help. Yeah. Does it help you?
Yeah.
We have to all discover our own ways, don't we,
Mm-hmm.
of doing things when we're feeling blue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling blue right now, though.
Me neither.
I'm so glad that you came today.
Thanks.
Thank you. And I hope you'll come back to visit again.
Okay.
Will you?
Yeah.
And will you give your mom and dad my best?
Sure.
Because they are sure great people.
Uh-huh. Bye.
Bye-bye, Jeff. I'll watch you as you go.
Just pretty neat, huh? Yeah. You know, a lot of times in our lives, there are times, and they talked about feeling blue, and sometimes it's easy for us. You know, for Jeff, he was differently abled. He had a lot of health issues, and sometimes that made him really sad, and that made him not feel good. And there are sometimes, I don't know about y'all, but there are sometimes I don't feel very good about myself. Are there ever times y'all don't feel better, that you don't feel good about yourself? Yeah, there are times. How about you all? Yeah. So there are sometimes that we don't feel very good about ourselves, and it's good to remember those songs, like that song that Mr. Rogers sang, where it's you I like. And he talks about the song that, the things that he likes about the other person. And there's a song that we can sing and that we can remember whenever we're feeling blue and whenever we don't think that we're very lovable, is we can sing a simple song. It's, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Y'all, can y'all sing that with me? Will y'all sing that with me again? We're going to get all of them to sing it. It's hymn number 191, by the way, if you need it, the words. Are y'all ready? You going to sing it with me? Because I don't want to sing it all by myself. Awesome. All right, ready? Are y'all ready? Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong, they are weak, but he is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Awesome. Well, y'all can do the extra verses. I'm going to give them candy and let them go into class, but y'all will do the other verses.
Second verse, page 191.
Jesus loves me, this I know. Praise Jesus, taking children on his knee.
Well, how many of y'all remember Mr. Rogers? Maybe you watched him as a kid, or maybe you were a parent and your kids watched Mr. Rogers, and you kind of watched along a little bit with him. When I was a kid, I lived way out in the country, and we didn't have all the channels, the TV channels that we do today. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? If the weather was just right, and in Arkansas that's a big if, but if the weather was just right, you could get 4 channels on your antenna. You only got 3? All right, I was living large. I got 4. I got ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. Right? PBS Kids. Well, they didn't have PBS Kids at the time when I was growing up, but they did have kids shows, and they were the only channel that had kids shows during the week. All right, so I spent a lot of time when I was a kid watching Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And I probably watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood long after it was cool to admit it, right? And I think a lot of us probably did because that was the only thing there was to watch, but not one of us dared admit it on the playground, all right? But I love Mr. Rogers because every day, no matter what was going on in my life, what was going on in the world around me, I knew that Mr. Rogers was going to be there. With the same sweater, the same little trolley, the lessons, the land of make-believe, and this consistent message that I am valued and I am loved just the way I am. That I bring something special into the world just by being me. And it's one of those lessons that I often forget as an adult. Somewhere between being that kid who watched Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and adulthood, I began that I was valued and I was loved just as I was. That inside of me, God built in goodness and value and worth, built it into me. Somewhere along the line, I began to buy into the lie that the things that I did made me good. Somewhere along the line, I bought into the lie that the things that I accomplished made me worthy. Somewhere along the line, I bought into the lie that the things that I had gave me value. Somewhere along the line, I began to think that if I was going to be loved and I was going to feel special, I had to try to pretend to be somebody I wasn't. And it was at that point that I began to cover up my true self with a mask. I think we all wear masks at times. Some of us wear masks all the time. We all we have a tendency to try to cover up, to try to hide behind our wealth, to hide behind our possessions, to hide behind our accomplishments, to hide behind our good acts, to hide behind some sort of false persona. Or maybe one of those people that just smiles all the time, just beaming from ear to ear all the time, even though we are falling apart on the inside. But we don't dare tell anybody or let that show because they might reject us or lash out at us. Maybe one of those people that has that false bravado, like nothing's going to get to me, nothing can bother me, I'm not scared of anything. And we walk around all the time terrified on the inside that the world's going to think we're a coward. We may be one of those people that has this gruff, kind of unfeeling persona and us guys, we do this a lot. We're kind of taught from the beginning that we're supposed to be like John Wayne walking around, howdy, Pilgrim, right? We're taught with this idea that we're supposed to hide our emotions and to keep everything bottled up and don't you dare cry, right? But we walk around with all of that, and on the inside, we just desperately want to feel loved. We're afraid to let anybody get too close because they might hurt us. We walk around with these masks. We all wear these masks, and all of us walk around every day like the guy in this video. That video ends with the question, must we disguise ourselves to get closer? And I think that that's the wrong question. I think that the question is, why? Why do we feel that we need to disguise ourselves to get closer? And I think the answer is that for many of us, inside, deep down inside, almost where we can't see it, almost where we don't even know it's there, is this terrified, wounded child who never heard or long since forgot that they were loved and valued just as they were. Inside, deep down inside, where we almost can't see it, is this terrified, wounded child who never got over the pain and the hurt that maybe their families inflicted on them, or other people that were significant in their lives who made them feel less than they were. It's no wonder that Mr. Rogers said that he thought the greatest evil in this world was done by those who would make us feel less than we are. I think that's why the story that we read today about Jesus and the children, why that resonates so deeply with us, and why it was so important that it was included in all of the Gospels in one form or another. You know, here's Jesus, he's teaching, and he's talking to he's teaching and he's talking to the disciples and these religious leaders and answering their questions about the law as they sought to justify their own masks of righteousness. And all of a sudden, these children gather around. They start coming in. They just come in through the side door, and they're coming in. And you know what? As soon as the children show up, it gets chaotic. It's kind of like Wednesdays, right? It gets chaotic. And it gets loud, and these kids are running, and they're playing. A couple of them are playing tag, and a couple of them have picked up sticks, and they're playing with the sticks. And then there's one like wrapped around each of Jesus' legs, just hanging on for dear life, and one's grabbed onto each arm, just daring him to pick them up. And then there's the one daredevil in the group that's found a rock to climb up on and is trying to figure out how he's going to jump on Jesus' back. These kids don't care about proper protocol, and they don't care about keeping up appearances, and they don't care about impressing anybody, and they're not hiding behind anything. They're just coming with their true, and they're honest, and they're joyful, and they're playful, and they're carefree, and they're loving selves. But you know, that was too much for all the adults in the room who had their carefully constructed masks of worth and value and accomplishment and wealth. And so they began to shoo the kids away. They began to, y'all need to quiet down. Y'all need to just sit down and go over there, just sit in the corner and be quiet because we got important things going on in here. Us adults are doing important adult things, and we're talking about important adult things over here, and y'all are getting in the way. And Jesus interrupts that and says, don't you dare do that. You see these kids? You see them? That's the way you need to be. That's the way you need to be. You're walking around, child, worrying about trying to show off your worth and your value and trying to somehow get my acceptance and somehow be worthy of the kingdom of God with what you've accomplished and what you've got and what you've done. And so what? Because unless you can strip all those masks off, unless you can come with your honest and open self like these kids do, then you're never going to hear it when I tell you I like you just the way you are. And you bring something meaningful and special to this world by being yourself. And you're going to completely miss out on the kingdom of God. That's the lesson